Hi all, Dr. Johnson here to talk a little bit about how you'll proceed with the new project, the Session Leadership Group collaboration with me, Dr. Johnson. So by now, everybody's wondering, what the heck is this Session Leadership Group project? Well, I'll tell you exactly what it is. This is a project that has two goals. The first goal is for me to model some of the best practices for integrating literacy across the curriculum, and some of those are collaborating with students, grouping students based on their interests, and really collaborating with students to try some of the strategies out that you are teaching in your classrooms. So this is also a place for you to practice some of those things on the teacher side of the power structure, or however you want to say it. So that's really it. A safe space to get some collaborative feedback from me as well as a partner, and to try out some new things regarding text selection and scaffolding readers and writers to work with texts. So what are you going to do? You're going to find out who your group mates are. This semester we had a small class, so you're in partnerships. You're going to go and do that online in the information section of our course page. You can also link to it through the session page, and I think you can also link to it through the Session Leadership Group Project folder in the Major Assignments folder. So it's a lot of places. Find out who your partner is or your group mates and get together, or figure out how you're going to get together and then get together. Given that this is an online class and we are meeting asynchronously, I would encourage you to try to figure out a way to accommodate everyone that way. So meet online, talk on the phone, use Skype, go over email, although that can sometimes get really long on collaborations. So figure out the most expeditious and courteous way to accommodate everyone for that collaboration. Figure it out when you're going to do that and how you're going to do it, and then move to doing it. So before you're going to get together, you're going to make sure you're familiar with the topic for your week. That means reading the main text that I have already selected, which is either in the Daniels and Semmelman book, a chapter on reading workshop or book clubs, or the other topics. This also has chapters on inquiry, and it also has a chapter on, there's a fourth one. No, I think that's it. The rest of people, digital literacy, pop culture, and classroom talk, have texts in the Text Beyond the Textbook folder in our content section of the course page. So read those texts. Then you're going to get together. Why are you getting together? You're getting together to choose the text to go alongside this text or that text. That means it should be different. It should either put things into practical application, or it should talk about some of the research and theory behind that practice, or it should just have a really different take on it. It could be a multimodal text, a really good blog, website, or video. Teaching Channel has some awesome videos on some things, including inquiry groups. It should model it in a way that perhaps the book or the chapters or articles that I have online for the session weeks doesn't. So if you think it should really have a focus on math and you didn't see math represented well enough here or in the other text that you took a look at, make sure that this is an example of that strategy for teaching literacy from a math perspective. So this is your opportunity to take a little bit more control of how things are coming and how we're working with them in class. So you'll choose that text and you'll send it to me in advance for my approval. Chances are I'm going to approve it. I might have a couple of questions about why, so you should make sure that you explain why you're choosing it and how it's going to enhance or develop or push on the primary text for that session that I chose. You'll also now decide. You can take a more conventional route and develop some before, during, and after questions for the reading to guide our classmates in our conversation online. You've seen me modeling that question development all semester long, so this isn't anything new. Your questions should be interesting. They should get people to do different things before, during, and after. They should reflect your developing understanding of what it means to think before we read, during our reading, and after our reading, because there are different purposes at those different times. I've been modeling that. We've been talking about it. You should now take some time to practice that. Or you can develop a reading tool, and I would encourage everyone to do this, particularly because I saw that there were a lot of interests that people were starting to develop in reading tools that we haven't yet explored. You'll also see, for example, that I modeled how to use some of the reading tools already this semester. I believe one of the reading tools that you used asked you to develop a cluster around the topic before you read, during your reading, and then after your reading. I know we've done some other reading tool work over the semester, so you can look back at those sessions and take a look at what I've shown you what I have modeled or demonstrated. I'd prefer that you not necessarily use the reading tools that I've already showed the class, so people can get a wide range of models. Instead, I'd encourage you to go to some of the tools you were interested in week 6 when we talked about Chapter 5 in Daniels and Zemmelman. So now I'm looking at Chapter 5, Tools for Thinking. This is what I mean by a reading tool. You all talked about ones that you were dying to try, some that you were really familiar with, some that you had questions about. You'll see some of them work before, during, and after reading. Some of them work before reading. Some of them work only after. Some of them only work during. Choose one that you're interested in developing and adapt it to the text that we will be looking at for that session with your group's guidance. If your tool only works for before a text reading, then you'll need to develop some questions for our class for during the reading and after the reading. If your tool only works for during and after, come up with a question for the class to think about before we start reading. So then you've got some during and after work with the tool. Hopefully this is clear. The last step to the project is to send me that tool and or those questions in advance, the 2 weeks in advance that I've asked. In some cases it's only a week because I got the groups put together a little bit late. Sorry about that. Send that to me. I will write you back with some feedback. It'll be A-okay, and I like this and this and this, or maybe I'll ask you to tweak a few things. You'll do that quickly so I can put things up and make them live for your classmates. And then when it's all over and everybody's had a chance to work with your text selection and your tool and or questions, you will get a chance to evaluate one another. And the rubric for that evaluation is online in the project folder, the Session Leadership Group project folder. And this is your chance to be frank and share real examples from your collaboration with your partner or group mates, this semester it's partners, about how that collaboration went. And you'll evaluate each other, and you'll be honest. And if someone got the short end of the stick, you'll let me know on that evaluation since they're individually composed. And if you didn't, you felt it was really easy peasy, even Steven, you'll let me know that too. And that'll go into people's grades, not necessarily in the group project, but it will impact their grades positively or negatively. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. I'm looking forward to collaborating and receiving emails from people and hearing about the text that you're choosing. And anything else, reach out. Talk to you soon. Bye.